Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Hope Santa Barbara Online. We're so excited that you are here with us this morning. My name is Gabe Hollis. I'm the Student Ministries Director here at Hope.
And I'm Jordan Branch. I'm our Team World Vision Captain at Hope. We're going to get started with our service in about 10 minutes, and in the meantime, we'll have some fun while people show up.
So Jordan and I prepared some trivia for each other this week, and we'd love to hear what you think the answers are as well. So the first question is this, Jordan. A clowder, C-L-O-W-D-E-R, is a technical term for a group of what animal?
Octopi.
It's a good guess.
Oh.
But I'll give you a hint. I picked it with you in mind.
Cats?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I didn't either until 10 minutes ago.
I guess I thought it was a herd, because you hear the phrase, it's like herding
Herding
cats.
cats, right. H-E-R-D, not H-U-R-T, right?
Right, yes, not hurting.
Yeah.
A clowder of cats?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So sticking with that theme of cats.
All right.
Next question. A domestic cat, can travel at a top speed of blank miles per hour over short distances. Spurts of this number.
I'm gonna say about 30 miles an hour.
Dang, it's 31.
Oh,
I gotta give it to you,
yes.
man. That was super good.
All right.
I'm impressed.
All right.
Maybe this one is a little bit hard to follow, so I have to read it. Based on the average amount of time a cat spends asleep per day, based on the average amount of time a cat spends asleep per day, a 9-year-old cat has been awake for how many years of its life?
I would say about 3.
That's it!
Yes!
Dang, you're killing it this week.
Yes!
This is your topic.
My area of expertise.
Yeah.
At last.
Yeah. Dang, and I really wish I was a cat. True or false, cats can rehydrate themselves through drinking seawater.
I'll say, I know humans can't. I'll say cats can.
Cats can?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
That'd be a really weird one to come up with if it was false.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
how would I think-
exactly what I was thinking.
I knew it would
Wow.
be kind of giving it away by doing that. But so I looked this up on the internet and found several sources for this, but I wouldn't try it at home just in case that's wrong. This one I'm really interested in hearing everyone's answer, and not just Jordan's. But Jordan, besides me, would probably be the person most likely to know the answer to this question. And that is, since February 2019, when Tetris 99 came out, you know what the question is going to be.
I do.
How many hours have I spent playing Tetris?
Ooh, I'm going to guess.
What do you guys think? Write it in the comments. We'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
89 hours.
89 hours? Really?
Is my guess.
Is your guess? 310.
No!
310 and 49 minutes.
Oh,
Okay,
man. I
you-
should have known. Initially I was thinking somewhere in like 270.
Yeah.
It's like 270.
Right.
And I was like, no, it's not.
That's kind of what I was thinking too when I went to look it up.
Ah.
But I am much worse than that. So, but I mean, stop, think about it. You're probably judging me pretty hard. That's okay. But it's only like less than an hour a day, right? Since February last year?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's not the only video game I play.
Right. Mongolia gathered 1,108 people
Yes.
to set the world record for the world's largest what?
Huh. That's interesting because I had a question about Mongolia for you, but I didn't say it.
Whoa.
They made it world's largest. The only thing that's coming to mind is pizza, and I can't imagine that being the right answer, but I'm just gonna say it 'cause that's all I'm thinking of.
They gathered 1,108 people for the world's largest camel race.
Oh, interesting.
Over 1,000 camels racing across the desert.
That's incredible.
Yeah. What is the maximum lifespan of an Arabian camel?
Yeah. Wow. I don't even. I'm speechless. I'm gonna go 31 years because that's how fast a cat can run.
Ooh, pretty close. It's 40 years.
40 years.
But that's like at the very top.
Right,
Average
okay.
is a lot lower. So I think you're close with that.
I like it.
That was good.
I
That
feel
was
good about that.
How fast can a camel run?
Wow. I'm gonna go with I can't imagine it going 40 miles an hour.
You're right.
Is it?
Yeah.
20 miles an hour? Nice. Wow, that's
awesome.
incredible.
Yeah, a little faster than a cat.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the same speed as a racehorse.
Right.
Actually. Yeah.
that's incredible.
A camel has how many eyelids per eye?
That's just gross. More than one is gross. I guess 3. I don't want to imagine more than that. 2 seems too easy, so I'm going with 3.
It's 3.
Yeah.
He's good. He's good. Yeah. 1 is like a little thin membrane
Yeah.
that protects it during sandstorms.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So
They're like really good during sandstorms. They can completely close their nostrils.
That's impressive.
This one is a little controversial. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.
We would.
How many types of camel are there?
How many types of camels are there? I'm just gonna go with 1. There's only 1 I know. There's gotta be more than that. What does that even mean, type? Like genus, species,
Species.
of camel? And this is controversial? I only know 1, but I'm very uneducated about camels. I'm just going with 1.
Some people say there are 2.
Okay.
Some people say there are 3.
All right.
There's the dromedary camel, which
Yeah.
has 1 hump.
Okay.
Then there's a Bactrian camel that has 2 humps.
Wow.
There's also the wild Bactrian camel, which some people say is a different species. Some people categorize them as all the same type. Again, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments.
I know one person who thinks there's just 1 of them.
Is that you?
Yeah.
The largest rodent in the world is what?
Capybara.
Nailed it. Oh, he's good.
I knew that one.
No doubter.
Yeah.
That was, whew. In what decade did the first McDonald's restaurant open?
1932.
It was 1937, but
Was it really?
It's the 30s. I asked the decade and you got it right. This man knows his McDonald's, let me tell you.
Would you rather learn everything, anything, 100 times faster than normal, or you can learn 100 things instantaneously, be like the master of them?
Ooh. Go over those options again.
So you either learn anything you want 100 times faster than you normally would, or you can learn 100 things immediately at once, but only 100 things.
Wow. I'd go with learning anything, but 100 times faster.
Yeah, why is that?
Because I'm thinking about like learning a language, boom.
Yeah.
And if I just have to pick 100 things and then I'm done, there might be something later that I wish I could learn, but no, I
Right.
couldn't.
That's a good point.
But just being a quick learner I think that's valuable.
I think so too.
What would you pick?
I'd probably go with 100 at once because I don't think I would want to learn more than 100 things. And
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you-
What are these things?
Do you know? Yeah. What would some of the things on your 100
Be like
list be?
the answer to like what's 2 + 2? Is that one of the things?
I hope not.
That took me a long time to
6.
figure out, so the 100 times faster might be helpful. Last week, Jim started a series called Coming Together, and it's about the importance of relationships, especially in times where we, can't be together one-on-one. And he started by talking about how being, in closed spaces together, we can really get on each other's nerves. And we think about that a lot, but we never really think about the pets, right? I mean, the pets are used to being at home all the time. And I saw this video earlier this week. I've watched it about 35 times.
I know what video you're talking about.
Have you heard me watching it in my room?
I have. I laughed about it this morning. I was like, ooh, there he goes.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share it with you guys. So check this out. That dog was so upset with people it needed to call the governor, right?
Furious.
Yeah.
Furious, yeah.
I love how it's like a person's hand dialing the phone.
Yeah.
The dog's answering the phone, and the facial expression on the dog just kills me.
Hey, just give me a hand with your thumbs real quick.
Yeah. What you guys didn't see is we actually watched that video on my phone, and when I played it on my phone, I didn't realize it was connected to my Bluetooth speaker and turned up to like 12 billion. I didn't fake this. This is actually what happened when we played that. Take a look. Oh, that was so loud.
That was so loud.
So we're gonna get started in a minute here. We're gonna have a few songs, some opportunity to have some discussion in the comments here, talk about cool opportunity for you. Jim's gonna bring his inspiring, encouraged message like he always does, have another song, and then we'll give you the opportunity to meet with some other people on Zoom after the service, hang out and chat, and we're gonna be done with this in about 50 minutes, 50.
So let's get started right now with some songs about how much God loves us.
how great the chasm that lay between us, how high the mountain I could not climb. In desperation, I turned to heaven and spoke your name into the night. Then through the darkness, your loving kindness tore through the shadows of my soul. The work is finished, the end is written. Jesus Christ, my living hope. Who could imagine so great a mercy? What heart could fathom such boundless grace? The God of ages stepped down from glory to wear my sin and bear my shame. The cross had spoken, I am forgiven. The King of Kings calls me his own. Beautiful Savior, I'm yours forever. Jesus Christ, my living hope. Hallelujah, praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah, death has lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name, Jesus Christ, my living hope. Hallelujah, praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah, death has lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name, Jesus Christ, my living hope. Then came the morning that sealed the promise. Your buried body began to breathe. Out of the silence, the roaring lion declared the grave has no claim on me. Then came the morning that sealed the promise. Your buried body began to breathe. Out of the silence, the roaring lion declared the grave has no claim on me. Jesus, yours is salvation.
So if you could be anywhere with anyone right now, who and where would you be with?
I think I would want to see my brother and his wife. It's been a while since I've seen them. And I would want to be in the world's largest bounce house.
Ooh, yeah, we did that once.
Yes.
That was cool.
It was an unbelievable amount of fun. If you ever get the opportunity, check it out.
Yeah.
So I would love to just do that, celebrate with them, see them.
Yeah, that'd be super
Yeah.
fun.
What about you?
I would like to be with my childhood best friend, Tim Smith, in Blockbuster. Did you ever go to Blockbuster?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Netflix has robbed the magic of Blockbuster. There was nothing like... You guys know what I'm talking about? You remember Blockbuster, how cool that was? The kids missed out on the excitement of the treasure hunt of looking through that all. And I mean, the video games, renting video games, that was... Best part of my life is gone. Welcome to Hope Santa Barbara, everybody. If you're just tuning in, my name is Gabe Hollis. I am the Student Ministries Director here at Hope Santa Barbara.
I'm Jordan Branch, our Team World Vision Captain at Hope Santa Barbara. But we are reaching people far beyond Santa Barbara in places like Washington, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Oregon, Florida, Connecticut, North Carolina.
Even Texas! You know we gotta give it up for Texas. You spent 3 years of your life in Texas.
And I loved them. They were great.
That's right.
Yeah.
In fact, you procured your current job by giving a presentation on Texas.
I did a PowerPoint presentation on Texas.
And your job has nothing to do with Texas.
Nothing.
That's how powerful Texas is.
Everything's bigger there.
Texas has nothing to do with our service, but we sure love it. And we can reach even more people around the US, around the world. We've had people tuning in from Pakistan and Germany. And one way you can reach even more people with this incredible message of Jesus Christ, His love and His hope is simply by liking this video on Facebook, liking it on YouTube, by sharing it on Facebook, by subscribing to our channel on YouTube. Really easy ways to help people hear about how much God loves them. And we'd also love to be able to connect with you. A real easy way for you to be able to do that, for us to be able to connect with you, is by filling out your virtual connection card, which you can find in the description on YouTube or the description on Facebook. We're also posting it in the comments as we speak. We'd love just to get your name and your email and any other information you feel like filling out on there. And we're gonna be really sensitive with your information. We're not gonna sell it. We're not gonna send you a bazillion emails into your inbox. Just a great way for us to connect with you and say thanks for joining us.
Yeah, and we'd love to hear if there's a way that we can pray for you, support you in that way, or if there's a way we can help you out with groceries, running errands, or if you're able to get groceries or run errands for someone else, let us know on that connection card as well. And by filling that out, you are already helping out, because for every connection card we get, Hope is donating $1 to RIP Medical Debt, an organization that buys medical debt from people where it can be a real burden. And for every $1, they can cancel $100 worth of medical debt. And so far this month, we have canceled over $19,000 of medical debt. So keep up the good work. You may want to just fill out that connection card at the end of the service instead of doing it right now.
And for now, here is Pastor Jim with today's message.
Remember back in 2008 when the stock market came crashing down and there was so much uncertainty about the future and fear and apprehension? Well, there is this humorous meme circulating back then, and it's been making the rounds again. You've maybe seen it. I'll put it on the screen. It says this: have you tried turning the United States off and back on again? Which is, of course, is what you do when your computer hasn't been working the way it's supposed to. It's kind of a way of hitting the reset button. Well, back in 2008, it was just a humorous meme, but you could say that today, that's actually kind of what's happened, right? We've basically shut down the country. We've turned it off, hoping it will get rid of this malicious virus that has infected our operating system. And right now, it's just kind of like we're waiting for things to boot back up again, in a sense, which honestly may not be an entirely bad thing, to hit the reset button. There are lots of situations where that's not a bad idea. Fact is, despite all the hardship and inconvenience associated with this season, and despite, the obvious downsides, there are some really awesome upsides. This season presents some unique opportunities. The question is, are you looking for those unique opportunities? They're there. Opportunities we may not have again for a long time. Opportunities for growth, for some good things to happen. Opportunities to develop some new habits, maybe even acquire some new skills. For example, one of the things I mentioned last week was that this season can help us to realize just how important we are to one another. It can help us realize just how much we need each other and why. It's easy for us to take our relationships for granted, our friendships, our family relationships, even the network of people that we, are connected with at work, or maybe are connected with through things like our kids' sports and stuff like that. All of our relationships. It's easy for us to take all those relationships for granted, but a change of perspective has been forced on us to some extent, and a change of perspective is never a bad thing. It seems we've been given maybe the opportunity to zoom out a little bit in some ways. Let me illustrate. Oftentimes in our day-to-day, week-to-week existence, we live in fairly close proximity to one another. We're up close and personal. You could even say that in some sense we're kind of in each other's faces, always in each other's business. We're family, or we're coworkers, or we're close friends, and it's like we're all in people, in those he created to bear his image. I love this quote from Bob Goff. Every time we see someone as ordinary, we turn wine back into water. See, none of us are ordinary. We are all works of art in progress. None of us are completed, finished works of art yet, which is one of the things I want to talk about today. This is our second week in a series we're calling Come Together, which is maybe an interesting title for a series at a time when we're all forced to keep apart from each other, but maybe not. Maybe this is perfect timing. Very few people would disagree that we need each other, that we need other people in our lives. We all recognize we need one another. Last week I presented the idea that maybe the reason we think we need each other and the real reason we need each other are two different things. We generally tend to think we need others because of what they do for us, or what they give to us, or what they bring to our lives. And that's certainly true. But I suggested last week that maybe that's not the primary reason we need each other. I suggested the primary reason we need each other is maybe because we are incomplete without each other. Now that's a distinction that may not be all that clear to you, or maybe it's clear, it's just not all that profound to you. Well, I want to build on that a little bit today, because we're approaching a very, very important truth that when we really tap into it and own it and make it part of us, it will be generally transformational and liberating and powerful. I promise you. Let's revisit the verse we looked at last week from Paul's letter to some Christians living in Rome in the first century. This is what he says. By the grace given me, I say to every one of you, do not think of yourself more highly than you ought. C.S. Lewis is considered by many to be one of the greatest authors ever. More than 300 million copies of his books have been sold, and even though he died in 1963, hundreds of thousands of his books are still sold every year. One of his most well-known books is Mere Christianity, which has become a classic. One of the chapters in that book is titled The Great Sin. Lewis opens this chapter with these words. There is one vice of which no man in the world is free, and which everyone in the world loathes when they see it in someone else, and of which hardly any people, except maybe some Christians, ever imagine that they are guilty themselves. I've heard people admit that they are bad-tempered, or that they cannot keep their heads about girls or drink, or even that they are cowards, but I don't think that I have ever heard anyone accuse himself of this vice. And at the same time, I have very seldom met anyone, again, other than some Christians, who showed the slightest mercy to it in others. There is no fault which makes a man more unpopular, and no fault of which we are more unconscious of than others, and the more we have it in ourselves, the more we dislike it in others. The vice I am talking of is pride or self-conceit. Pride is this tendency we all have to think more highly of ourselves than we ought. And it is something we all struggle with. Lewis describes pride as a spiritual cancer that destroys our ability to genuinely love others and ironically keeps us from being content with ourselves, with who we are. The reason we think more highly of ourselves than we ought is because we are discontent, dissatisfied with the person we're afraid we actually are. Lewis says it is a purely spiritual condition that originates straight from hell and is consequently far more subtle and deadly than all the other sins. We readily recognize it and hate it in others, but most of us are convinced it's not really that big a problem for us personally. Pride really does ruin everything. And it really is the root cause of most of our discontentment, most of our unhappiness and relational conflict, and pretty much the root cause of everything wrong in our lives. Pride. So Paul says, by the grace given me, grace is something you don't deserve, something you are not worthy of, not good enough for, but given to you as a gift nonetheless. By the grace given me, I say to every one of you, do not think more highly of yourself than you ought, but rather think of yourself with sober judgment in accordance with the faith that God has distributed to each of you. There's so much there, and we'll be coming back to this verse over and over in the weeks to come. But after saying this, Paul then introduces a profound metaphor. For just as each of us has one body with many members, and these members do not all have the same function, so in Christ we, though many, form one body, and each member belongs to all the others. Paul says we are all connected, far more connected than we generally realize. It's as if all of us Jesus followers are collectively one body, Paul says, the body of Christ. And each of us individually are different parts of that one body. And so what Paul is saying is that each member finds its true significance, its purpose, its importance in the context of relationship with the other members. No one will ever be able to find their significance, their sense of purpose, their meaning and identity apart from the rest of the body. We are truly incomplete without one another. We only find our purpose, our importance, our significance in relationship with others, in the context of other people. So, for example, when you look at someone and notice they have beautiful eyes, their eyes are beautiful because you are observing those eyes in the context of the rest of that person, right? If you saw those same eyes in a jar by themselves, your first thought would not likely be, wow, what beautiful eyes. Just guessing. I think you'd likely be grossed out to some degree because it's unnatural to see a pair of eyes that are not part of a face. It is the rest of the face that helps make the eyes beautiful, right? Now imagine each part of your body had a mind of its own, a mind and an ego of its own. Or let's just stick with your face. Each part of your face had a mind and an ego of its own, and each part's primary concern was for itself. And so imagine they all started kind of going their separate ways, kind of doing their own thing, becoming, kind of self-absorbed, self-promoting, even to the point of where they're competing with one another. I have an example. I'm reluctant to share a little bit, but okay, so I don't know how many of you noticed, but I've had work done on my teeth. A few years ago, I had veneers put on my teeth. My teeth they weren't that horrible before I had veneers put on. There were some minor issues, unnoticeable to most people. In fact, here's a picture before I had my veneers. Here's a picture with my wife, Jenny. I mean, talk about beautiful eyes. Them are some beautiful eyes. But ever since I had the veneers put on, it's like, the first thing people notice about me is my teeth. I know that's the first thing they'll notice because they say, wow, your teeth, they're really white. They don't say, hi, Jim, I've missed you. I haven't seen you for like 15 years. You look well. No, the first thing they say is, wow, your teeth are really white. The thing is, I had a tooth that died. And as a result, it become a little discolored. And one of my other front tooth had a little chip in it. And I was going to need a root canal. So my dentist said I should just get veneers and it wouldn't cost that much more and it'll be like, brand new. So I said, okay. And you actually get to pick the color. I didn't realize there was such a broad range of choices. I honestly had no idea they were going to be so luminous. Well, anyway, the bottom line is now I have my regular old aging face, but my teeth are all like, yo, what's the haps? Looking good. Check me out, And while the rest of my face is like, oh, brother, Yeah, my teeth think more highly of themselves than they ought. They are competing with, trying to outdo the rest of my face. They're not even real. They're just veneers. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, pride. I have none. But maybe that wasn't the best analogy, but that's kind of what Paul is talking about, except so far I've been speaking really primarily in terms of appearance, intentionally so, because our culture is so oriented around appearance and image. But with Paul's analogy, it wasn't just about appearance, it's about function. Just like a body has many parts, each with a different function, so we too are all parts of the body of Christ, each with our own unique function. So here's the big idea. Here's the point I want to make today. You will never become who you were created to be outside of the context of relationship with others. Which means, just as others play an important role in your growth and your promotion and your advancement and your perfection, you have been given the responsibility and the privilege to play a role in other people's growth, promotion, advancement, and perfection, which means this: everything you have, everything you are, your gifts, your talents and abilities, the resources you've been entrusted with, your knowledge, your good looks, wit, humor, and charm, all that you are and all that you have been given have not been given to you simply so you can serve yourself and improve yourself and promote yourself. It was all given to you so that you could glorify God by serving, improving, promoting, building up, and restoring the people God has put in your life to the glorious image that God intended for them to be. And if we fail to understand and embrace that truth, that all we have is not just for our own advancement, not just for our own betterment, not just for our own promotion and our own, glory, then we will effectively be working against the whole plan and purpose of Jesus. We will be, in effect, creating a mutated body where, the foot would much rather prefer to be the foot would much rather be where the nose is, where it can be seen and admired, and the hands would also rather be where the nose is for the same reason. In fact, all the parts of the body would much prefer to be arranged somewhere in the head, neck, face region, including the spleen, the liver, and the pancreas. Everybody wants to be prominent, every member competing with the other members to be first, to be noticed, competing for attention, for affirmation, for prominence. This is actually a very real problem in our culture, the culture we live in, if you haven't noticed, particularly with the proliferation of social media. Study after study is demonstrating that people are becoming less and less concerned about actual excellence in character and actual substance, and instead becoming more and more obsessed with appearance and image and everything superficial. So that, for example, success isn't valued like it once was. Only the appearance of success is valued. In other words, it's not enough to just be successful anymore. You have to be seen as successful. You have to have your success be noticed and enjoy a reputation of being successful. Success by itself isn't valued the way it used to be. The same is true of, your talents and your skills and your experience and abilities. It's just not enough that you possess them or even using them in very productive, redemptive ways. No, you have to be known for them, be famous for them, and really to be recognized for them in order to really be appreciated for them. That's the pay dirt for this culture. If you can cure cancer but nobody knows about it, sucks to be you. So image has eclipsed the actual substance, thanks at least in part to, according to a lot of researchers, thanks in part to social media, where image management and promotion is everything. So not only does our pride have us evaluating ourselves and other people using wrong metrics, such as talents and success and physical appearance instead of character and integrity and humility, but our pride isn't even using an honest ruler to measure those things. Dr. Peter Moore, in his book, Disarming the Secular Gods, he talks about how these days, when people come into a crowded room, instead of seeing other people with needs and problems and with life experiences to learn from and with stories to tell and wisdom to share, instead of seeing people in those terms, what they see is an audience, a group of people to perform in front of, an audience to impress, people to be admired by and from whom they can leach out maybe a certain amount of self-esteem. And of course, there's only so much esteem to go around, so they better get it before somebody else does. That competition can be tough. Here's an interesting piece of trivia. The word compete comes from the Latin verb competere, which literally means to seek together. In its purest form, competition is actually a beautiful thing. Number one, it's something that you can only do together, right? In some kind of relationship with others. A famous psychologist named, I'm not going to even try to pronounce his name. In fact, I'll put it on the screen for you. You can try to pronounce it if you want. He's a famous psychologist. He's written a number of books. Wrote a book back in the 90s called Flow, which became a bestseller. But he suggests that when people seek growth and self-improvement in the competitive arena, it's not the winning itself that is the motivating factor, but rather the abilities, the discipline, and the skills the others have brought to the competition. Maybe God always intended competition to be a means by which a person is motivated to do their best and expand their potential using other people's gifts and abilities as their inspiration, their catalyst. I love that. Competition, to seek together. See, it's only when personal pride enters the picture that competition takes on an ugly form and becomes about, comparison, dominating the other opponent, wanting to impress an audience, fulfilling a self-serving agenda. Paul says, though we are many, we form one body, and each member belongs to all the others. I belong to you. You belong to me. We belong to one another. And we share our lives together. A few verses later, Paul says this, be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. What does that mean? Honor one another above yourself. How do you honor someone above yourself? Well, maybe it means this, that you get more excited when your brother wins than when you win. You're more excited when your friend, your coworker, your teammate receives recognition than when you receive recognition or attention or affirmation or kudos. Come on, really? I mean, Paul says, yeah, you're part of the same body. When one is honored, you all share the same honor, right? I mean, I've yet to see an award show where somebody's voice receives a Grammy Award, but not the rest of them. When Celine Dion won her 5th Grammy Award, her whole body came down to accept the award. It wasn't like, no, Celine, just your voice can come forward. The rest of you must remain seated. See, part of what it means to honor one another above ourselves is to see, to recognize, and to shine a spotlight on God's artwork in one another. Not on ourselves, but in one another. And then to be partners in restoring that beauty and that glory in them. It's easy to zoom in and focus on all the stuff that's lacking, all the stuff that's wrong. Anybody can do that. But we are called by God to look and see His beauty in them and call it forth and bring it out and build it up. Paul says this, he wrote this in his letter to Christians living in Ephesus. He says, "For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus so we can do the good things He planned for us long ago." Those good things involve our recognizing God's artwork in others and becoming His agents of restoration. So, I have an assignment for you this week. We're going to take a moment right now to ask God to put someone on your heart whom you will become an agent of restoration for this week. And here's your assignment. God's going to give you a name of a person, and then I want you to write that person a short note or a card or a letter and tell them a few things that you admire about them. Highlight the artwork, the masterpiece God is creating in them. Highlight his artistic ability in their life and build them up. So I'm going to take a moment. We're going to pray. I'm going to ask, and then I have 3 questions for you to ponder. One of them will be, who is it that God is putting on your heart? And then I have 2 other questions going to follow up after I pray. Dear Heavenly Father, what an awesome assignment you've given to each one of us, that we get to play a role in seeing your creative work furthered, promoted, advanced in other people. And Lord, forgive us for the time that we are so insecure, we get so focused on us and ourselves. And Lord, it short circuits your whole plan. It short circuits who you've called us to be as individuals and as a body. But Lord, help us this week to begin to realize and recognize the work of art that you have that you have created in the people that are surrounding us. And help us to value that and to call it forth and to bring it out, Lord, and to build it up, Jesus. You love us so much, and Jesus, you want us to be one body, many members but one body. Help us to live that out. Even now, as we're separated from each other physically, Lord, help us to write those notes, to make those phone calls, and to build one another up this week, to become agents of restoration in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thanks for that message, Pastor Jim. Those are some really insightful questions to think about throughout the week.
Yeah, it's really important to not just hear the message, but to, think about how to put it into practice.
Do it, yeah.
Exactly. One of the things that's tough during the whole COVID pandemic that we're in the midst of is not being able to meet with each other on Sunday morning and just see people's faces, see what they're doing, hear about their lives, catch up with them, be able to say hello to each other. So one of the things we're doing to be able to let that happen on a Sunday morning is through something we call Faces of Hope, where we visit from other people, with other people from Hope. And this week, one of our adult groups was recorded a few things that they wanted to say to the rest of us. So check out this video of Faces of Hope.
Okay.
All right, so we got this new segment at Hope on Sundays called on our online services called Faces of Hope. So we're going to just take a few minutes. This is one of our small groups here. We're going to take a few minutes just to give a shout out to people that we haven't seen in a while because we haven't been to church together. It's Bruce and Elaine. Who would you like to give a shout out to?
Shout out to Nancy Carlson. We miss you, Nancy. Hope you're doing well.
Same with Fred Hicks. We haven't seen you for a while. Hope to see you soon.
Absolutely. Hey, Madeline, who would you like to shout out to?
Oh gosh, I want to shout out to the Hollises. Miriam, you play a mean driftwood, and I just want to get some lessons on playing the whisk in the saucepan from Pete. That was amazing.
That was pretty epic, wasn't it? I loved that.
That was great.
Okay, anybody else? Sheila.
I want to say I miss Terry and Lori and Curtis and hospitality. I miss your smiles when we walk up. And I also miss all the yummy treats that you give us, and just can't wait till we see you guys again.
Yeah. John and Cammie, who would you like to shout out to?
I want to give a shout out to all of my info booth ladies. I love you guys. I wish we could all be together, and I can't wait till we all get back together and do our thing. And also to Rich and Vicky. Love them and miss them.
Cheers, they're just around the corner. Yeah.
Shout out to the worship team. Love you guys. See you soon.
Yeah. And I'd like to give a shout out to Tyler Kelly and to Melinda Crawford, who works also so hard in the hospitality ministry, and Tom and Jen Hamilton. We miss you guys. Oh, so many people that I just miss seeing. Jenny, you want to shout out to somebody?
I do. I'd like to shout out to all the kids registration volunteers. Gosh, I can't remember all your names, but
Bubens,
the Buben, the Offner, Stacy and Mike Allen. We miss all of you guys and seeing all the kids.
Bye, guys. It's good to see you all.
Bye.
God bless you all. Look forward to seeing you soon.
You know what my favorite part of that video was?
What?
Like the part where that guy said that.
I was thinking the same thing.
It was so good.
Oh my God.
I got to go back and watch that again.
I need more of that.
Yeah.
If you haven't taken a moment to fill out your connection card, this is a really great opportunity to do that.
And another thing that you could do to help spread this message is simply by giving. And you can give by following a link in the description on YouTube or Facebook that goes to www.hopesb.com/give. We're also posting that in the comments. Makes it really easy to give. It's where I do my giving. Doesn't just make a temporary impact, but makes an eternal one, because it's not just reaching people's physical needs, it's also teaching people how to have an eternal relationship with Jesus Christ. That's what your giving makes happen at Hope Santa Barbara. You can also mail your gifts to 4141 State Street, E14, Santa Barbara, California, 93110.
Yes. Right now we're going to sing one final song, and after that we'll tell you about an opportunity to hang out with some people from Hope via Zoom.
Before I cry, chase me down, you seek me out. How can I be lost when you have called me found? You chase me down, you seek me out. How can I be lost when you have called me found? You chase me down, you seek me out. How can I be lost when you have called me found? Like a tidal wave, crashing over me, rushing into me. Your love is fierce, like a hurricane that I can't escape, tearing through the atmosphere. Your love is fierce. Your love is fierce. Your love is
That song was fierce.
It definitely was fierce.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yep.
All right. Well, we would love to spend some time with you right now via Zoom. We can't hang out in the patio after service, but this is a really easy, fun way to catch up with some other people of hope. It's one of the things I look forward to most on Sunday mornings now that we're online. So we call this Zoom into Hope. And what happens is when you click the link we're going to give you, it will take you to one of two things. One, if you don't have Zoom, it'll install it for you and then take you to a room. And if you do have it, it'll just take you to this room where there'll be a host from Hope who will facilitate a discussion. It's really relaxed, it's really fun, it's really easy. You can hang out for 30 seconds, you can hang out for 15 minutes, it's up to you, but we would love to see you there for that. So, have a great week, and we will see you all next Sunday.